Hi friends! If you're new here, I'm Flutter. I make short narrative VR experiences as a solo developer, and I wanted to talk to you about why. Why virtual reality? A long time ago, I went to school for film and video production, and I've always wanted to create worlds that people could get lost in. I absolutely love film and I love filmmaking, and I really wanted to bring that to people. So then, let's fast forward to many years later when VR had become accessible and you could buy a headset and develop for it. I had no idea, but I wanted to find out more. So I went through the boot camp at XRterra, and originally I thought, well, I'm going to probably prefer augmented reality. And I thought putting the digital realm on real life spaces was a little bit better because you stayed in reality more and with your physical realm. At the time, I was working on light art installations for my music, and I was really seeing light art and projection mapping as something that could be really interesting on stage as a musician. But when I made my first world in VR, there was just no turning back. I fell in love with the art form. When you can walk into the world that you made, it's pretty transformative. At least it was for me. And then that was it. Something that I find really important, though, is that real life has not been replaced for me. To me, virtual reality is complementary to my real life, and my real life is complementary to VR. And I discovered this early on in my journey. The first year that I was learning Unity and specifically VR design and development, I would be in the headset quite a long time. And so when I would finally take a break, take the headset off and go outside, my real environment was trippy and looked even more vibrant and enhanced to me. And I think that's a good thing because I was very appreciative of the nature around me in real life. And then I'd go back into VR and bring those insights with me into what I was creating. Sometimes I wanted to close out the real world because it was too distracting or too much noise, or I was anxious or just needed to get away from real life sometimes. So you put on the headset and go into a magical world or something relaxing, and I would feel more in tune with my body and get more relaxed. So then I could bring that peacefulness into real life. So I can see how both things are complementary to each other, and VR has never replaced real life for me. And I've never been so upset about, oh, VR is just going to be dystopian. I can't ever be in there either, because I found some really good things that it helped me with there too. So I see these things as complementary and not one replacing the other. What I love to create are short stories that you can experience. I like putting the person right into the story, and you can explore the space and learn about what the narrative is all about. I do this by spending a lot of time and thought about where I place objects, how you move through the space, what sound, what lighting is being used. All of those things mean something. Objects do have meaning. Symbols mean things to people. Metaphor. These are all things that have been traditionally brought through stories and writing and literature and all these different art forms for many, many years. And I like looking to classic works and classic ideas and traditional ways of making things, and then finding out how I can translate that into virtual reality and how it can be effective in this art form. There's a lot to explore in this area. It's still really new. Even if you've been doing VR for a long time, there's still a lot to explore, and I love that about this. In a lot of my work, I use controllers, and that's because those have been the most reliable in regards to interactions. And I just didn't want to take any risks because a lot of my work I was still learning and things were still new. But recently I've gotten more into hand tracking, and I just love it because the embodiment is even stronger when you can see your hands moving in real time, just like they are in the digital space. You can get more present with yourself, and I really like that. I have used animated hand models in my previous projects because I still felt that seeing hands was important versus seeing controllers, because I want you to feel that you're really there in that three-dimensional space. What you'll often see on my channel are my reflections, both on development, design, and what I'm working on, and just what it's like to be a solo developer and designer. I'm not here all the time because I am deep into my work a lot, and so that's why. And also I do have a Substack, so I write about my findings there. And I like doing that too because sometimes writing is a better way to transmit some information than video, and sometimes video is better. So just depends on what I think is going to translate the concept or the idea to you better. If what I'm talking about is of interest to you, please hit that subscribe button for more videos. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming back to hear me talk about VR and all things that go around this area. So please stay tuned for more. And until next time, don't give up on VR. This is so much fun. Let's keep going and find out what we can discover. Thanks, friends, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video.